Daddy, can you read us a story? Yeah, read us a story. Yeah.
This time, I'll read you a story about Klaus and how Santa Claus began.
Yay! Daddy, who's that?
I'm not really sure, honey.
Does he have a name?
I'm sure he does. Everyone has a name.
No, he said he doesn't have a name.
Well then, I guess we have to give him a name. What do you think we should name him?
Waffle. Because he's as flat as a waffle. Wait. Waffles are flat, so yeah.
Even if waffles aren't flat, that is a great name. And I think our little friend loves it too.
Yay! Happy birthday, Waffle! Yeah, happy birthday, Waffle! Happy birthday!
We were about to read a story. Would you like to join us, Waffle? Well, today we read a holiday tale. Once upon a time, and a place, there was a man. These days, everyone knows his name, but few could tell you who he really is, or how he got started. This is the greatest untold story of them all. Klaus, how Santa Claus began.
Poor Waffle. He's freezing. Maybe he can wear a sweater, and then he wouldn't be cold. Yeah, a sweater. Yeah, he can have a sweater like your sweater, Daddy.
Looks like he wrapped up pretty quickly. So let's continue with our story. We find our hero at the gates of a familiar town, where of course, he is met warmly and kindly by the town guards. Well, what do you want? I have skins and furs and meat. I usually trade up north, but Baron Jorn's been securing his borders. Let him in. Let's take a look at what he has to offer. After a quick inspection of his goods, our hero makes his way into town. Grimsvig. As our hero strolls through town, he realizes that it is quieter than the last time he visited. Our hero enters the local tavern, and as the wind blows in through that door, it is clear by the echoes that this place is empty. One thing I have to ask, barkeep. Where are all the men? The barkeep looks both shocked and surprised by the sudden burst of light that entered this lonely tavern. The men are in the mines, working. What can I do for you, stranger? A drink's enough. It's been a long time since I last visited Grimsvig town. Didn't they used to stop working during the Yuletide festival? Coal's needed. Take it up with the Baron if you want. My advice? Stop asking questions. I'll trade this coney pelt for a jar of your best, then. How's that? Our best. Hardly worth the rabbit's ass. It's the best we've got. What happened to old man Gunderson? Used to run this place. Said the wrong thing too many times. Understand? Best say nothing, I say. Too bad. Gunderson never watered down his ale. Food is scarce in Grimsvig. Ale is weak. As for stranger... The silence is suddenly broken when guards pour into the tavern and surround the stranger. You'll find they're not welcome here. As our hero finishes his drink, he stands and faces the group of guards. Then I'm done. I had good friends here once. I knew this as a happy town. I'm sorry to hear you've fallen on bad times. We've assessed your wares. Outside. When our hero steps outside the tavern, he sees more guards, rummaging through his carts of furs. Hey! What's going on? Those are mine! Suddenly, Our hero finds himself at the end of some very sharp spears. The guards now surround him, their weapons raised.
Everything within the walls of Grimsvig is the Baron's property. You're not welcome here, wild man.
We've heard howling, heard wolves.
You wouldn't know anything about wolves, would you? Or men who turn into wolves?
Nearby, some children play as the guards question our hero. The guard's attention now turns to one of the boys in particular.
And you! No playing in the streets by order of the Baron! What's in your hands? Is that some kind of toy?
What? Leave the boy alone. It's only a stone. A stone is not a toy.
In the hands of a child. Anything can become a toy. Keep your mouth shut, Wolfman. Hand it over. All toys are the property of Master Jonas for his sole fun and pleasure.
Some soldiers near our hero's cart begin to take all of his furs, leaving him with nothing. That's enough, soldier. If you want those furs, you can pay me for... Well then, I'll trouble your hospitality no further. All I want to know is this. Who's in charge here that turned an honest town into a hornet's nest of thieves and liars?
On your way if you want to leave with your tongue intact.
While the guards were distracted by our hero's bravery, the children were able to escape, but one child stayed behind.
Sir, are you a wizard? Please, you have to help us.
Boy, what happened here? Where's your papa? The guard suddenly and without warning strikes the small child.
I said, on your way, brat.
Enough! You'd strike a child, you coward! Armed men! The small boy who our hero saved now watched in horror as our hero was beaten by many guards, and more were on their way. The guards kicked, and punched, and kicked some more, until they were satisfied that our hero would not get up. As the assault continues on our hero, the boy runs away in fear.
What's going on down there, Harold? I don't like the brutal treatment of strangers to Grimsvig.
Then it's a good thing you don't run this town, Sergeant Linkvist.
Lord Magnus, forgive me.
Well, I'll try. You have to let your men have their fun, Sergeant. It's Yule time after all. The time for fun.
Run! Run, you beggar!
The
Run!
guards push and taunt our hero as they escort him out of town, his arms tied behind his back.
Or better, you won't even make it to the tree line.
How much are you willing to wager, Carl?
Linkfist turns away in disgust.
I won't bet on an innocent man's life.
Come on, there's no such thing as an innocent man.
Our hero, cold, beaten, bruised, makes his way across a frozen land. A group of guards follow behind our hero.
He must be here somewhere.
There's footprints. He won't get far.
Tired and nearly frozen to the bone, our hero finds something sharp enough to cut his binding. Ah! Our hero stands to his feet, arrow in shoulder.
Why would you do this? Men of Grimsvig, I've done nothing to you.
Meanwhile, back at the town gates, the guards who wagered on the stranger's death watch as a storm begins to roll in.
How far did he get? I can't see a thing.
Anything more to say before we put you down like the filthy dog you are, wild man?
Only this, you fools.
Eh?
Lily, that'll do. That'll do.
Lily begins to chew on our hero's bindings.
Good girl. Gnaw through. There was a time when Grimsvig was bright with light and song. What happened here? I know, my dear wolf. It's not our concern. But they took my clothes and furs, and we need to eat fast or we'll die in the midwinter cold.
Back in the town of Grimsvig,
You're sure?
two men speak as they ascend the stairs.
You didn't hear it? No voice in the pit?
I heard nothing, my lord. This is about your son. He was very angry. He asked for you.
Did he? Good.
Useless.
The small, angry boy picks up a small toy ship and slams it into the toy village below.
These toys are useless.
The boy then stomps the toys together with so much force they break into a million pieces.
Boring. Who made this rubbish? Why is nothing ever good enough? Why?
Out of the shadow we see a familiar face. It is Lord Magnus.
I ask myself that same question over and over again, Jonas. You'd hope for so much more. I know. Bring your complaints to your mother, the Lady Dagmar, who has demanded our presence for this evening's Yuletime at dinner.
The servant who led Lord Magnus now sets fire to the small town replica.
I hate Yuletime.
Why are there little people that do what I say?
I wanted little people. It's no fun when there's no one else.
Lord Magnus and Jonas make their way down a long, empty hall.
But you hate other children, Jonas. And they carry disease. The people are starving. Yet they toil in their mines and give us their food because they love us. And they want us to be happy and strong. Little people who do as you say can be a curse. You have to keep an eye on them at all times. You never know when they'll turn. How about your mother, my boy? She's not well. Not normal.
At the end of this hall lies the biggest tree you have ever seen, covered in decorations and lights.
Are you, my dear?
Am I what? You heard about the wild man?
Lord Magnus reaches his wife's side and strokes her hair.
Harry Savage. He's dead now. Or gone back to the woods and the ice where his kind belong.
Jonas comes around the other side of the chair and kisses his mother's hand in respect. Jonas takes his seat at the table.
A wild man sounds almost interesting. More interesting than my Yuletime present.
You need more strong men to work the mines, Magnus. Perhaps you should have kept him.
Is that so? If I see him again, I'll have him shot and stuffed. Your son has something to tell you about how utterly disappointed he was by the first of his Yuletime gifts. Tell your mother how things will have to improve if Yule is to be anything more than a bitter anticlimax. Let rip, Jonas. Let's see if we can take Mommy's mind off the wild man for just one moment.
The struggle between life and death now takes place. Somewhere far in the wilderness, the sound of battle can be heard. But not of men against men, but of man and beast against beast.
This food is disgusting, and my present was rubbish.
Every Yuletime is a bigger disappointment than the last.
Craftsmen worked all year to construct that model town. I'm sure they'd love to hear any suggestions you have for improvement, Jonas. Here's to the first day of Yuletime.
Later that night,
This broth's not for you. This has healing magic in it, Lily. Stick with your bones. We're all bones in the end.
the sky is clear, and a million stars fill it, illuminating the mountains and lake that sit just beyond the edge of the lonely cabin in the woods.
Those poor children. They don't deserve to have their Yuletime canceled. Still, it's not our concern. I know. There's nothing we can do. Let's play a tune for Shining Family. And as the music begins to play, a soft melody rings throughout the forest air. Lily joins in, howling into the night air. The mysterious melody floats through the forest air, attracting all sorts of jolly spirits. Unaware of his surroundings, our hero continues to play his melody. As the forest spirits approach him, they reach for him. To them, he is a sea of color and shapes that emanate like a wave of joy that spread all around. There must be a way. There has to be an answer. Show me the answer. Ha! Of course! Morning comes as it always does, but our hero sleeps by the fire, undisturbed and unaware of what's transpired. Lily begins to lick our hero's face in order to wake him. Ah! What a night! And with a loud groan and a stretch, our hero is awake. I almost missed the daylight. All 5 minutes of it. As the sun begins to rise, the light hits our hero's face. What a dream that was. My hands are aching. Why are my hands? The morning silence is broken by strange sounds that can be heard from somewhere close by. And what's that sound? They were toys of all kinds. Lily, what did I do last night? What am I supposed to do now? The end. For now.